Well, more documents have been found in Joe Biden's possession or at his Wilmington, Delaware residence by the Justice Department. Here from the Washington Post, a Justice Department search of President Biden's home in Wilmington, Delaware, Friday prompted authorities to take possession of 6 additional items with classified markings and some related materials, according to Mr. Biden's personal attorney, Bob Bauer. And so I want to show you the difference between the left's response and the right's response to this story, okay? And it shows you kind of the difference in how partisan people are in a situation where a story like this breaks about someone who's more aligned with them or in their party, whatever it might be. And what we saw and what I'll show you with right-wingers here is, for the most part, the right wing jumped in to defend Trump, say that there's nothing there, say that it doesn't matter. And then the Biden document story breaks and the right wing thinks it's very serious, even though the facts of it are less severe than Trump's. Again, still hold any necessary people accountable, still investigate it, said it all, but just factually, definitely the obstruction isn't there like it was with Trump, and yet the right wing is taking that seriously and not Trump. But then most people on the left and Democrats that you see are just saying, listen, investigate it. Great. We don't have to cover for Biden. We don't have to say, don't talk about this. We don't have to lie like we've seen so much with the Trump Mar-a-Lago case and the right wing's responses to it. We can just be honest and say, hey, if you want to talk about the comparison, we can explain why Trump's is more severe, but accountability, if necessary, investigate. It's just not that hard. So here's a couple examples of Democrats just reasonably responding to this, and then I'll show you the opposite.
No one can defend having classified documents sitting at a Penn Center or a personal residence. And I believe the president will acknowledge that that was a mistake. But character is acknowledging mistakes, being forthcoming and honest. And I think the American people will judge him based on if he's fully cooperating and if he's fully honest. And if he is, I think they will respect that. No one can.
So saying no one can defend, and also if he handles this correctly, complies, then that will be good in the eyes of the American people. Then you have Democratic Senator Dick Durbin.
When I finish reading it, he takes it back and puts it in the briefcase and leaves the scene. I mean, that's how carefully we review these documents. To think that any of them ended up in boxes, in storage, one place or the other, is just unacceptable. But having said that, let me make this point clear. Joe Biden has said from the start, we are going to be total.
And then getting into how Biden is complying with the investigation, but saying it's unacceptable for those documents to have been handled in that way. So that's one example of how you could treat a situation like this. You've seen plenty of examples of right-wingers defending Trump in a more severe situation. Now let's see how they're responding to the Biden story.
It's just this double standard that it's unnerving, Harris. Again, this is why we've got to have this select committee that investigates how government is being used to be weaponized against political adversaries. You look at the 2 different ways this was handled. Mar-a-Lago, very public. You have a search warrant. You've got cameras on this thing. This one is handled where the American public don't even get to know. And the White House wants to tell you that this president is cooperating from day one. If he's cooperating, why aren't we seeing everything? Remember, the best antiseptic to corruption is sunlight.
Always, it's this nebulous, why don't we know all the details? What details? What do you want to see? What, you need a camera of Biden hanging out in his house? Like, what are you wanting to see? Biden has completely opened up to the DOJ the properties and said, look into them. And so that's what they're doing. The talking point of why was there a raid on Trump and not on Biden is one I'm getting so sick of. And the way that I kind of wish I could respond if I was talking with someone like that Congressman Tom Emmer, is by saying, I think you can answer that question. This is something I do in a very annoying fashion in my personal life on occasion, which is if I get asked a really, really dumb, simple question and I'm in kind of an annoying, spicy mood, we'll say, I'll just flip it back around and say, I think you can figure that one out. And that's what I wish I could do with him. Tom, just think about it, okay? there was a raid on Trump, but not on Biden. Why? Let's just really put our thinking hat on. Trump was asked time and time again to return the documents. He did not. He was asked more time and time again. He did not. And on and on and on until after months, the National Archives had to turn it over to the FBI and the raid happened because they couldn't do it in a peaceful manner. They couldn't get him to voluntarily turn over the documents that he knew that he had, so they had to do it by force. Biden, right when his team found the documents, they turned them over and opened up the necessary locations to investigation, to a review, to be looked through. So what would be the purpose of a raid? I just really want to understand that. If they're already at the house that they got access to, what would the raid be for? They're there already. They were let in already. They can look wherever they want already. Not wherever, but the necessary places. I just don't get the talking point. What more information do you want, Tom Emmer? Ugh. Okay, next example here, and this is with Christina Bobb.
Joe Biden has done in spades much worse than anything Donald Trump did. Donald Trump didn't do anything illegal, neither did his legal team, and we'll see how it all plays out. Joe Biden
hasn't done, or Joe Biden has done in spades much worse than anything Donald Trump did. Donald Trump didn't do anything illegal. That's Christina Bobb's claim. Come on. Well, you know what? We'll take some dishonesty. But let's not be that bad at your dishonesty, Christina. Come on. We gotta be better than that. Trump did nothing illegal and did much less than what Biden did. When you line up the facts of the situation, both include classified documents, okay. And then what are the questions that follow that? How many? All right. Way more on Trump's side. Were they turned over when asked? No, yes. That kind of answers your question up front. And for how long were they not turned over after asked? Biden, pretty much zero. Trump for months and months. So all of these talking points I've gotten so exhausted with, and it makes it hard to spend time on the interesting element of, hey, Biden shouldn't have had those classified documents where he did, because one of the sides is screaming about the fact that this is actually worse. Some of them are saying that this is the left trying to take down Biden. This is all coordinated to take him down. Some are saying that Biden should be raided for no reason. And so it's hard not to respond to that, which we really wouldn't have to do if we were in a more reasonable world.